If you've been wondering why your ChatGPT results seem to be getting worse and worse, and you too are thinking about jumping ship like many that I see in the comments of a lot of the different AI groups right now, let me help you out here. ChatGPT is not broken. Your custom GPT is not broken, and it's not necessarily user error, as a lot of people will tell you, and that's even a term I would have probably used. The thing is that you have to understand how large language models, which ChatGPT is a large language model, so is Claude, so is Gemini. You have to understand how they work, and if you understand how they work, you'll understand exactly what's going on and how you can reduce the bad quality of your outputs, and how you can keep a tighter handle on it to get consistent results over time. Because what's probably happened to you is what I am hearing from a lot of users right now. Hey, when I started with ChatGPT, it was giving me these amazing results, but over time it's just gotten worse and worse, and I'll be in the middle of a conversation with it and it can't remember what I just said a few minutes ago. Okay, so large language models are built on statistical probability, right? So they're not actually operating in the way that you would be used to a computer operating with memory or any other device or system that you have grown up using, right? So it's trying to complete a pattern. When you ask it a question, it is using all of the data that it has to use the statistically probable next token that makes sense. Now, you may or may not know what tokens are, so let me give you a quick explanation on that. Tokenization is when what you type into a large language model is taken and broken up into tokens for processing. So for example, you may type into your LLM, I hate ChatGPT. So I would be a token, hate might be a token, the G, the P, the T, all tokens. Every bit of information that is typed in is broken down into these tokens for processing. And you have a context window in large language models, and that limit is going to vary by model. For example, right now, the context window for ChatGPT is 128,000 tokens. So as you continue to converse with ChatGPT, once you've passed that 128,000 tokens, you're going to resort to something that's called recency bias. And this is not the only place it applies. It is, first of all, it's only going to see the last 128,000 tokens. It's not going to weight all of those the same. If there's something that you've repeated a lot, that's going to have more weight. If what is more recent, what you've most recently typed, is going to carry a lot of weight. For example, you may tell ChatGPT, hey, I do not want you to affirm me. I do not want you to be my buddy. I want you to shoot me straight. I want you to be very analytical. I want you to be very practical. I want you to cite your source. Okay, that's all great. But if in the next response or two, even, if you push back against what it tells you, if you in any way respond in a way that it perceives as a tone that takes the conversation to a different place, that's going to resort to what they call the recency bias. So, okay, so recently you've just responded in a way that statistically seems that you are not reinforcing this pattern of straight analytical, no affirmation. So it is going to, at that point, resort to its developer-based priorities of safe conversation, helpful affirmation, over precision and over accuracy. So these are all things that can cause what we call drift, because what you're seeing when you talk about, oh, my outputs have degraded, ChatGPT is crap lately, I'm not getting anything good out of it, you're usually talking about drift. It has drifted from the instructions and the things that you gave it in the beginning, because it's not going to hold that memory the whole time, and your behaviors, what you have recently, the way you've recently responded, it's all impacting the way ChatGPT responds to you. Even within a custom GPT build, drift can happen. And the good news is we can do a lot to reduce drift. There's a lot we can do to reduce drift, but you cannot completely eliminate it, right? Just like you can't completely eliminate any risk. So, okay, a couple things. we've talked about why it happens. We've talked about, kind of what it looks like and what you might be seeing on your end. So let's talk about things that we can do to fix that. Okay. So first of all, it's important to remember this is not a bug. It's not the model glitching out, and it's not necessarily that you're not being clear enough, but it's just the natural product of a system that is designed to statistically predict what comes next in terms of probability. It's not designed to maintain fixed structure over time. Now, if there are certain tasks that you are wanting to do over and over in ChatGPT that are specific to maybe video production or your brand voice or even your technical workflows, troubleshooting, figuring out what your best tools are in a tech stack, then your best bet is to build a custom GPT, because the priority weighting is going to go to the system instructions in that custom GPT. Now, of course, a custom GPT does not maintain memory of any kind over sessions. It's not persistent over sessions. So anything that's in the system instructions, it's going to continue to revert to. But it's not going to react to you in the same way that your general chat will, in that it does have a little bit longer memory there, and it will be persistent over sessions. That doesn't happen in a custom GPT, but you do have more stability within that custom GPT for particular outcomes. And when you are building that, you've got to be very specific with your guardrails, right? Your system instructions that you give it, I call them AI guardrails. You want to design those guardrails based on what your values are, what your outcomes are. You've got to do things like give it parameters for scope containment, for I actually like to use compliance-led principles in my GPTs. You've got to give it parameters regarding sourcing, right, and credibility, because ChatGPT is a static LLM. It does have, obviously you can enable web search, and most of you probably have that enabled, but that is not necessarily always going to give you the best results, right? If you're looking for deep research that in real time is absolutely, let's just say more correct because it's real-time sourcing, then you want to go to Perplexity for that. ChatGPT is actually not the best tool for that in its current form. ChatGPT 4.0 is what we're talking about, or ChatGPT 4.0. So, but you have to still give it parameters, and you can give it the parameters to always cite its sources, to never plagiarize. There's a variety of instructions you can give it as guardrails. And certainly as you're working just with your general GPT, you can do this in the prompts. But as I said earlier, there is recency bias for the tokenization. So if you start to go in a different direction as you're responding to the outputs, whatever you have said most recently is what it's going to prioritize, right? So the only way to have more consistent outputs in the general chat is honestly just to repeat yourself. And it can be a little bit of a pain, but one of the things, and I work with both. I work with the custom GPTs and I work with the general chat because I really love the flow of the general chat. And so a lot of times when I go to start a new session, I'll say, hey, what do you remember about my work parameters and my current projects, and I will let it tell me what is still in that context window. Because the other thing that's going on, again, you've got that 128,000 character context window. It's starting to trim. It's going to trim the context. It's going to trim what it calls memory, right, within ChatGPT. So all of these things are happening because this is the way the system's designed. This is how it's supposed to work. But if you are re-anchoring, often repeating yourself through your work with the general GPT, and if you are using really tight system instructions in a custom GPT, or just even really tight prompts as you're using the general chat, and you just keep an eye and look for that pattern degradation. I mean, based on the complaints I see every day about ChatGPT outputs, I would say most of you are recognizing when this is happening, but now at least you know why. It's not that ChatGPT is flawed. It's just working according to its design. And this is also why AI literacy is kind of a really big deal. If you have a foundational understanding of how the tools that you are using work, you're going to have an understanding of their limitations and their capabilities, and you're going to know how to use them better and how to get more effective outputs that really matter for your life and business. If this is the kind of thing that you want to learn more about, if you want to hear more about putting guardrails into your AI to not just get better outputs, but just to have a more stable, sustainable business model, systems, especially as AI usage becomes so dominant, this is the channel that you want to subscribe to. And just remember, the next time you think, why did this go off track? Just recognize this is drift. Let's go back and take these steps and look at where we can put those constraints and better prompting into play to get those better outcomes consistently.